What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. Joining me this week, Justin Davis,
Scoop,
Marty Sleva, Jared Petty.
I'm not Sam.
We've got a great show for you this week. We've got to talk about the new games coming out in June.
Mm-hmm.
It's June now.
Oh, dang, I gotta pay rent.
Yep.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
It's too real.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of our favorite video game controllers of all time. But first, E3 is still coming. I know we've been talking about it for weeks, but it's not over yet. It's still in our future.
I think I said last week it's equal parts excitement and dread.
Yeah.
I'm definitely leaning more towards the dread side the more time that passes.
Still full of enthusiasm and excitement.
No, it's a very, very exciting time of year, but it's also, I never ever work harder.
Today, we're going to talk about VR
Ooh.
and how VR will be featured at E3 this year.
Oh, wow.
So there's three big VR platforms right now, right? Oculus, Vive, and PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Two of the three, 66% of them are already out.
You're right.
That took a little bit.
I don't know how to math.
Yeah, we don't.
No, you got it. You got
okay.
there.
So I wonder if PlayStation VR, maybe that's a good place to start. That's probably the most exciting VR
I mean,
hardware at E3 this
that's the
year.
one we're hoping to get answers for.
Yeah, totally.
So we already know price, and we know October release window.
And it's that price that makes it so exciting for me. This is, I think, kind of the original Game Boy of VR. This is the one that they're pricing at a place where, like, you know what? You already got the PlayStation. You don't have to buy a big, fancy, expensive computer. You just plug it in, and off you go, and you're VRing. And that's what's exciting about it for me. It's going to be the good enough VR system. What's that?
I just didn't know what that voice was.
Oh, that
He's been very
That's his
folksy all
PlayStation
day.
VR
I'm
sales
very
voice.
folksy all
I've been
day.
feeling folksy today.
Yeah.
I have been feeling folksy.
Is
and
it the
Christmas.
shirt?
Huh? Is this old shirt? It's my 15-year-old shirt.
So
my oldest shirt.
what is that price if anybody doesn't remember?
$3.99.
Yeah.
It's
great.
Yep.
You know, I would never guess that shirt is 15 years old.
I've taken good care of it.
Looks not a day over 3 years old.
I've taken better care of the shirt than I have of my body.
To me, the most exciting thing about PSVR is maybe seeing what some of the first-party Sony studios are working on.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see if folks like Naughty Dog and folks like Sony Santa Monica or Media Molecule, if they or Sony Japan Studios, if they have projects that are specifically made for PSVR, or what sort of experiences could exist inside known Sony franchises like Uncharted or Infamous or Ratchet. And I'm hoping we see some of that at the conference.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just going to get this really interesting mix of, hey, here's a traditional sort of standard game, or here's like a plussed up VR version of it. Here's something that you can only play on VR. Here's, it's not Uncharted 4 in VR, but sort of a very cool, interactive Uncharted experience. I think we're going to get things that sort of run the gamut there, and I'm really, really excited about it.
Do you guys think this is where we're going to see that Super Mario Brothers of VR, that game that just makes us have to have this, have to try it? Is this going to be the show we see?
Marty doesn't think so.
No, I don't think we're going to see that for a couple of years, to be honest. I think there's a lot of cool things we've seen so far across all three VR platforms, but I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to see something that is the Super Mario Brothers of something ever again.
Really? You don't think so?
No.
Oh,
sad.
man.
Yeah.
I think that's coming again. I think sooner or later somebody's going to... So there's always those people that just clock us in the side of the head and surprise us with things we never imagined.
Mario is coming,
Mario is coming.
as they say.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mario is coming to PlayStation VR. You heard it here first.
Cool. Sony has a big press conference that Monday of E3, caps off that Monday. How much of Sony's conference do you think they'll dedicate to VR?
25 minutes. Can we actually
in a 90-minute show?
Can this be a pizza bet?
Yeah, what the loser buys pizza?
I don't know, man. However these things work.
I just know I want to know what kind of deal I'm getting into here.
Yeah, whoever. Well, yeah, that's a good point. Whoever is the farthest off has to buy pizza for.
Oh, okay.
Like a slice for the other three?
Yeah.
You have to buy one pizza for the four of us to eat.
Okay. Is everyone on board with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like the actual pricing. It's not like the showcase show or pricing game. Where
No.
you, like,
No,
it's
if you're
just
over,
go
it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
25 minutes.
25 minutes. Their show's usually 90 minutes.
Yeah, usually 90 minutes.
Go for
I think less than that. I think 15.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna say 26 minutes.
Okay. Then
You are just the worst.
I'm just gonna go 20 minutes.
I just got petted.
So the viewers, listeners will keep us honest. It goes 17, 20, 25,
Wait, I said
26.
15.
Yeah, you said 15.
Oh, sorry.
There's
Didn't
only
they guess 17?
there's only 2.5 minutes where I win now.
Yeah. Marty guesses 15. I guess 20. Justin guesses 25. Jared guesses 26.
Yeah, now that's a risk though, because if it turns out to be anything other, I'm going to end up.
No,
if it's below 26, I have to buy pizza now.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
yours is the least risk, because if half their conference is VR, then you win.
Yeah,
That would
there's
be
that.
weird.
So, okay, so what if they demo a game,
Yeah.
and there's also a VR version of that game? Are we just counting that?
Total. We're talking about total minutes, not all in one.
You know what's incredible about this? Damon can't lose.
Can't lose. Why?
Because he gets.
I feel like the only people who can lose are Jared or I for being on the outsides because we said who's the closest. I just realized that.
There's a very
If it's above 26, I lose. If it's below 15, Jared loses.
It's only if it falls.
There's
in that
no way
very
the two-
narrow range
either
in the
of you can
middle.
yeah, there's some game theory here that
Yeah.
we definitely didn't consider before we
I
started.
walked right into my trap.
Now we know where the price is right.
Here's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be blam. Here's a new game. It's coming to PS4, and Neo and PSVR. Blam. Here's a new game. It's coming to PS4. It's coming to Neo and PSVR. And I think that's just going to be. I think that's how they're going to cap off almost all of their games. Is they're going to have lined up, 2 to 3 versions of all of them. That's my expectation.
Do you think some GameScoop viewer will prepare a supercut of every second of the show where they're talking about VR?
God bless them if they do.
All right.
Do we think we'll get a release date, an actual
Yes.
Yeah.
date that they'll put
Yeah.
in October?
Yes. I think it'll be the first Tuesday in October.
Now, we keep hearing that VR is supposed to be closely tied to PlayStation Neo. Right? It's supposed to provide some of that extra power
Yep.
to really amp up your VR
Yeah.
experience. So,
Yeah, so I mean, in theory, Sony could be talking about hardware and tech a lot during their conference.
Maybe up to 25 minutes.
Maybe up to 25 minutes, yeah.
Surely not more.
Yeah, sort of some of the things we heard, since PSVR needs this external box that it comes with in order to be powered, it's like extra processing power. So we sort of heard that Neo would have that incorporated internally, which might make PlayStation VR cheaper if you had a Neo down the road.
Yeah, or if you're someone that hasn't, for whatever reason, hasn't jumped into next gen yet. Now there's like a perfect opportunity where you have this VR ready box. You get the extra horsepower if that's all you care about. But if you are interested in VR, you're also sort of future proofed in that way.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll do a discount bundle with the two together?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. What do you think they'll price that at?
No one knows. No, I don't know. I mean, I think it's hard. It's really hard to speculate because I don't know how much. I don't know enough about the cost of PSVR to break down what's the head. What's the screen and the headset, and then what's in that box. I don't know.
Yeah.
think we'll see more of a Star Wars Battlefront for PlayStation VR.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out this year. Or whatever that experience is.
The Battlefront
Yeah,
experience.
I don't. I think maybe we'll see it at Celebration, Star Wars Celebration in July.
Battlefront is a third-person game, right?
It could be either.
Oh,
You could toggle third and first person. When they say experience, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's going to be. Here's the full game in VR. I think it might be like, here's a cool tour of the various planets in VR.
I mean, even if that was all it is, like that's a little.
still pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy cool. It's a little disappointing just because Battlefront's such a crazy awesome game, but the environments in that game, like indoor, it's the best indoor I've ever seen. Outside of the films, and same with all the environments in that game, crafted with such loving detail. To be able to wander around them peacefully in VR would be.
Or
great.
like put yourself in the cockpit of any ship, or like in AT-AT, or the Millennium Falcon, or an X-wing. Like that'd be really cool.
Maybe that kind of a tech demo. Maybe simply a dogfighting, low atmospheric
Dogs.
thing. That could be fun.
Dogs.
I don't think we've ever seen a dog in the Star Wars universe.
Space
They have a
dog?
lot of aliens, but not dogs.
Yeah, weird.
I don't remember Space Dog, but I'll bet you somewhere in that like awful Marvel Comics run back years ago there was a dog. There has to be one in there
Dagobah
somewhere.
just has regular ass snakes.
Dagobah.
Dog.
Yeah, Dagobah. There we go.
Will they reveal No Man's Sky VR? No Man's Sky VR.
Nomansky VR. Well, it got delayed 2 months, so that would put it closer to its August
delayed to
release.
August.
Is now closer to PSVR. I still think that eventually we're going to get that. I think maybe they're going to be radio. I don't know. That would be a good way to, because they got a lot of backlash for delaying it 2 months. So maybe that would be a good way to earn some favor back. Is like part of the delay is because we wanted to get this VR tech ready.
That makes sense to me.
This is based on nothing, but my guess is no.
Yeah.
I think No Man's Sky is being made by a pretty small team, a new developer that's
true.
really, really
Probably
working hard to get there. Yeah,
They've probably been driven close to the edge of death, just trying to finish this regular.
But I also wonder if grafting VR into something like that isn't something you can farm out to a third-party studio and have them do that piece of it as well.
I mean, there's also just no, just wait. Like, they can patch in VR when VR comes out.
Yeah, when that game is out in August, PlayStation VR won't be out yet. And they probably don't want to have people saying, "Well, I'll just wait for the VR version if it's already been announced."
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they will simply announce. And by the way, for every copy you buy, that it'll also eventually be VR compatible. That makes the most sense to me.
It was just a free thing.
Yeah, just say, hey, by the way, if you buy this now, when PlayStation VR comes out, you're going to be able to use it.
They're going to be able to say, "No Man's Sky will be out this summer, and I have a VR-y good reason for you to buy the game." You heard it here first.
You're on fire today.
And then he just walks off stage. Everyone's like, "What? Did he just stutter? What just happened?"
All right, moving on to Oculus then. Oculus has been confirmed for E3. They usually have a big booth on the show floor. Oculus is out now. They're still trying to ship all the units that have been purchased. So what do you think Oculus needs to do next?
I mean, they have to make a big splash. I think, and again, I don't, it's not like I'm crazy plugged into the VR space. My sense as someone that, dips into the news a couple times a week is that Vive has been a more viable competitor than Oculus expected. That's the sense that I get, is that, it's a great VR product. A lot of people think it's a better VR product in a lot of ways, although, there are cost and other considerations there. And so I think Oculus needs to, they really need to sort of paint their picture for, what's next and why, if you can only get one VR platform, why it should be their platform.
Yeah, I think they need some kind of software tie-in. The fact is that Sony's got their library of games to pull on, and Vive's got, of course, they've got studios on their side
working
now.
closely with Steam.
Exactly. The fact that they're integrated with Valve, the fact that a Valve demo, comes with the Vive. Oculus needs something like that.
Yeah, I expect to see Oculus pop up in the name spoken a lot at the third-party presentations at stuff like EA and Ubisoft and maybe even Bethesda. I also think it'll be a part of the Microsoft presentation. Microsoft's been closely aligned with Oculus on the PC front, and then recent rumors of the Xbox Scorpio coming as sort of an Xbox One that's more powerful coming next year that might be able to support Oculus.
Yeah, similar to PlayStation Neo.
Yeah,
and
totally.
PlayStation VR.
Yeah, so that would, having Microsoft sort of draw the line in the sand and say like, hey, the whether you're gaming on a PC or whether you have an Xbox 1.5 or whatever, Oculus is going to be the VR of choice there.
There's also, lending credence to that, is the official E3 website. There's a certain amount of developers. They're listed as developing for the platform Xbox Virtual Reality.
Interesting.
So unless that's just a typo, then there are multiple developers working on something for Xbox Virtual Reality.
Well, then you have the HoloLens connection there too, though, because the other question is if Microsoft's going full holographic, does it make sense for Oculus might be a way to hedge their bet, might be a way to make sure that they remain competitive without risking too much, but they do seem very invested in this idea of bringing Windows to a holographic environment, of kind of dominating the holographic business space, and that's a place we don't talk about as much, but as cool as holographics are for games, they're going to try to sell holographics in boardrooms and corporations.
I almost feel like HoloLens is more about non-gaming things than it is about gaming applications, whereas I feel like VR would be more immersed in games themselves.
Yeah, they did show off HoloLens at E3 last year.
Yeah, they had a Minecraft demo.
Minecraft demo.
Yeah, and then a lot of us got to see a pretty cool Halo demo where you're sort of going through the brig of a ship. Ships have brigs.
They do, brigs. Yeah, that's where you lock them people up.
I don't think it was a brig.
Yeah, a brig is where you lock
bulk?
up. That's where you lock up the drunken sailors early in the morning.
Definitely wasn't where I was walking through.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's okay. You'll get it next time.
Well, Oculus, before we move on, Oculus, I think they still need that killer app.
Yeah.
They still are lacking that.
There's
killer app.
There's an interesting sort of philosophical debate in the world of VR, which is this a display? Like, is it equivalent to a television or is it equivalent to a game console? And they kind of have one foot in both worlds, and there's a reasonable case to be made for both. But should it be walled off? Should there be Oculus games that only work on the Oculus, or should games just be VR games in the same way that games are TV games? And I'm kind of torn. I feel like I think the open standard is definitely better for consumers, but maybe there won't be enough money in that business for it to make sense.
I've
for
heard anecdotally a lot of Oculus is heavily courting a lot of developers and publishers and trying to get some form of exclusivity, even if it's timed exclusivity on the Rift.
I kind of consider that a bad thing. That is a bad thing, but that also might be what this space needs to survive. Why it makes sense for Facebook to continue, putting billions of dollars into, a startup like Oculus. So.
I planned on buying a Rift when they came out, and then I got a chance to play with the Vive, and with Vive came that little Valve demo of the, in this case, a kind of a bullet hell shooter game. And it's a simple demo, but a wonderful proof of concept. And I walked out of that going, if that were a full game, I would be tempted to just go with this thing if it's the only place I could get it. And it really changed how I thought about the whole VR space, just like here.
I think for a long time, VR was Oculus. And for a long time, a few years, and then like this crazy thing happened where the PSVR is cheaper and has more gaming chops behind it. And the Vive is probably, I don't think I'm going out on a limb or it's too controversial to say it's probably a better overall VR experience.
Well, especially,
and so that puts Oculus in this strange place now.
Yeah, especially as of right now because Oculus Touch isn't out yet.
Yeah.
Oculus Touch is sort of going to create a more, honest form of parity between Vive and Oculus. And by the end of the year, I'd be willing to bet that even though they've had a 6-month lead on it, PSVR will be the best-selling, even if it's only out for a month and a half, 2 months, it'll be the best-selling VR headset just because of the, by then, 50, 60 million install base of the PS4.
Price. So important for this kind of thing. That said, that Facebook money, though. When it comes to Oculus.
A great man once said, "Dat Facebook money dough."
I believe that was former community manager Chris Abbott.
Oh, I thought it was Dat Boy.
All right, moving on. A new month has begun. It is now June, the 6th month of 2016. The month of the summer solstice.
Ooh.
Longest day of the year. And
it's my favorite solstice.
Of all the solstices,
Yeah.
It's time to rank the solstices.
Oh no, there's an even number!
Summer, winter.
There you go.
But if you put equinoxes in the mix, then it's a whole
complicated.
different.
That gets.
I've chosen 9 games to keep an eye on this month. I do not know whether these games will end up being awesome or not. These are games that I'm looking forward to checking out this month. June 7th, we get Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think I don't know. My sense is that there isn't a lot of hype and excitement for this game. Nobody seems to really be talking about this game. It's out next week.
It's coming out at a really weird time. It's coming out right before E3, and that is
But most people aren't going to E3.
They're not going to E3, but still, there's going to be all kinds of other news about other games they could be playing coming out around the same time, and maybe that's drowning it out a little bit. But I think Mirror's Edge Catalyst looks neat.
I do too.
It looks great.
I think Mirror's Edge is groovy, and I think Catalyst looks fun.
People kind of forget Mirror's Edge was like a flop, man. Like that game came out and nobody cared. We cared, and like the kids on NeoGAF cared, but like the world didn't care.
A cult following.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's almost like a. It's amazing that we ended up getting a sequel or prequel, whatever the hell Catalyst is. But,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
It had a much higher profile unvailing, right? It's been at E3.
Yeah, this might be one of those victims like Battleborn and Evolve of sort of a death by 1,000 cuts of it got delayed a lot. And it's sort of, we saw a lot of it and there were demos and betas and it was on stage at various conferences and it was almost like...
Beta for a single player game.
It's weird, right?
Yeah. That used to just be called a demo.
Yeah, that did.
Makes you think.
This game is not. Forgive me. Is this game an Xbox exclusive?
Nope.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Yeah, PS4.
Sometimes that's the reason why.
Yeah.
There isn't much.
I think it was unveiled at the Xbox conference.
I think so, and I remember at PAX it was at Microsoft's booth.
I think they're just aligned.
These games pair up with a console for their marketing, and then it can be sometimes hard to sort out.
But I don't know. Maybe that's why because. The install base for PS4 is just so much larger.
I'm just scared to death bad timing is going to kill this one, and that's going to be the game you pick up in the discount bin for $40 a couple of months from now and enjoy very much. But.
Yeah. That same day as Odin Sphere Left Riser.
Woohoo!
Man, Odin Sphere is so good.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where if someone's like, "Hey, name a game that you're interested in playing again," that wouldn't have even been on my radar. But now that it's coming out, I'm like,
And Megan Sullivan reviewed it, said that it cleans up what problems did exist in the original. Apparently, it's beautiful on PS4 and strangely even more beautiful on Vita.
Perfect.
She says just a fantastic Vita game.
that OLED screen.
So I cannot wait because I thought Odin Spear was groovy the first time around.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting, unique concept in terms of just the way the game unfolds and mechanics and the battle circle things.
Yep, that game's also long as hell. Like it keeps going longer than you think, but in like a good way.
That's
like
awesome Vita game, actually.
It was the Princess Crown sequel we never knew we needed.
But it totally looks like a Damie game, but I did not play it first time around. I think I just
you're gonna love it.
Yeah, you're going.
I didn't have a PS3 at the time, so yeah, it's coming out for PS4, PS3, and Vita now.
Do you play Muramasa, Damon?
I did play that one on Wii.
Wii.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And that same day next week, SteamWorld Heist HD comes to PS4 and Vita. And I'm stoked for that because SteamWorld Dig was awesome.
SteamWorld Heist is super cool.
Yeah, and SteamWorld Heist is a turn-based game set in the same world, but it was on 3DS, and I just never got around to playing that version.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's either. But you don't have Steam listed on there.
Is it not already out on Steam?
I don't know.
I have anyway.
Okay.
If it's not already out on Steam, it's coming to Steam
Yeah.
too. Then June 10th is Kirby Planet Robobot
Yay!
coming to 3DS. New
Yeah.
Kirby game.
I like Kirby
It's
games.
supposed to be pretty good.
You look
Yeah.
a little bit like Kirby.
I kind of do look a little bit like Kirby, especially today. I got this bigger. I was Kirby for Halloween one year.
That's
I
great.
built a giant, big old Kirby suit. It was fun. Yeah.
Nice.
But Kirby games are generally good. There's a few lousy ones in the mix, but most of them are solid at worst and really good at best. And Brendan Graber played this, liked it.
Yeah.
Please, everyone, sign my Change.org petition for Kirby's Dream Course 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that game's good.
Well, the original.
Yeah.
2 doesn't exist. I just made it up.
but the original is real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
June 21st is Mighty Number 9. Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
Well, that
But it's very
trailer-
interesting. Yeah, the trailer was awful. There was a lot of excitement when this game first launched on Kickstarter, and then it's just been sort of a long, slow decline, I think, in hype.
Yeah.
Too many delays, and then just the tone deafness of the trailer. I don't get it. It was deflating, and I shouldn't allow 90 seconds of video to take away my excitement for what looks like a pretty good game.
I mean, the trailer,
but-
that's the irony, is that the game looked great in the trailer, but it was just so awful. The narration was so awful, and writing was so awful. I kind of can't believe it.
Yeah,
You just
it's
watch
crazy.
it and you can't believe it.
It's pretty crazy. But I'm very interested to see how that game finally turned out.
Yeah.
After all the delays, after all the time.
It's probably great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Looks like a fun game.
What?
That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
I mean, if they just made a new Mega Man game.
Yeah, they did.
It looks like they made Mega Man with speedrunning culture in mind. That's what I see there. I see Mega Man with built-in speedrunning stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Well, fittingly, since Mighty Number 9 is spiritually a Capcom game, Capcom has Umbrella Corp coming out the same
thanks.
day, June 21st. And you say no thanks. Marty Sleva says no thank
I'm
you.
a giant Resident Evil
Capcom.
fan.
Oh wait, I thought this was the Mary Poppins game. This is the Resident Evil one. Okay.
That was an umbrella. That was umbrella humor.
There we are.
Yeah, I'm a huge
good.
Resident Evil fan. Resident Evil remake, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4 are some of my favorite games of all time. This is like a team-based shooter, third-person shooter.
Is it not like a mercenary mode? Like just
But it's
mercenary
multiplayer.
mode with multiplayer.
Yeah, and there's like AI zombies running around the map. I think literally for the next 6 months, I think people are only going to be playing Overwatch, and no other multiplayer shooter should probably just exist.
I do admit that I doubt anybody was asking for this game.
Yeah.
It's sad to say, a decade ago, I would have really trusted Capcom to do this game right, but like they're just kind of, their output's kind of shaky now, and I just don't. Like I don't, like maybe it'll turn out to be great, but I don't think that that's nearly as assured of a thing as it would have been, with old Capcom.
I have a feeling there have been some rumors of maybe of us seeing what the future of Resident Evil is at E3,
Yeah.
whether it's a Resident Evil 7 or whether it's like a full-on franchise reboot. So I'm hoping that we see something that looks amazing and that I could just think about that. And
As long as it's got more Albert Wesker, because everyone wants to know what he's up to.
Resident Evil : this time it's good.
Whatever happened to Wesker?
To Wesker.
You know what we won't be playing on June 21st is No Man's Sky.
Oh, and I'm so sad about it, but also happy because it's not done, and don't release things when they're not done. But
Still skeptical.
oh, I can't wait to play that game.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
I ain't worried if there's not a game in there. I just want to travel around planets and see dinosaurs. I'll seriously be okay if that's all it
Yeah.
is.
I want to name them after Panguses.
Yeah. Just the one Pangus, really.
No, there's a bunch of names. You can
Yeah.
name one as Schwantz.
Minecraft,
Dennis.
Minecraft in space that just goes on forever. That's just perfect.
Yeah, but it's not
That's-
Minecraft in space.
That's what I want.
Anyway, June 28th is Lego Star Wars Force Awakens.
I am super excited for this.
Should be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we premiered a bunch of footage for IGN First earlier on in May, and the game looks super gorgeous. It's going to tell a bunch of canonical stories. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to find out how 3PO got his red arm.
Oh,
in
that's
this
on.
game.
Well, we know that from the
That's
comics.
not,
but
that was revealed in the
but
comics.
most of us are illiterate.
Spoilers, he got it from that bad robot.
Well, thanks.
That was a
Yeah,
production
no problem.
company joke.
Yeah, I do what it was.
I know.
And finally, on June 20th, I think Prison Architect comes to consoles.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I thought that would be a Justin game because I love, Dwarf Fortress and all those kinds of games. I loved Banished and all these sim top-down games where you sort of tell people what to do, then they scurry off and do it. But I couldn't get into Prison Architect. Yeah,
It looks cool.
it was a little too. It wasn't really the game. I feel like it was more my fault than the game's fault. It was a little too.
It's not you, it's me.
It wasn't sandboxy enough. It was a little too puzzly in terms of like how you escape from your prison cell. And stuff like that.
That doesn't sound as fun as commanding people. Yeah.
You still do that. but
You're not thinking of The Escapists, are you?
I might be thinking of The Escape.
Maybe you're thinking of
Oh, Prison Architect.
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't escape. You are the warden in Prison Architect.
You were the one who knocked.
No, I played Prison Architect. There's a series of Let's Plays of me and Greg playing Prison Architect on PC. Yeah, no, I was literally thinking of The Escapist.
I've never played this. Is
You
it
just
fun?
saved me from significant.
No, I exposed you.
I mean, I got the names wrong. Yeah, no, I love Prison Architect.
Totally a Justin game.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Prison Architect is great.
that's
It
from the
is.
consoles.
It is like it's you build your own prison and it's set up just like Dwarf Fortress.
Oh, well, that
He's
sounds great. I've never
also,
played
you're a
this.
big
Yeah.
fan of the American penal system as well.
Who's not?
Well,
Half of the scoop.
Half a scoop, not a fan of prison.
let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners. Thank you.
Listeners, remember you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com, just like Chris from Chicago.
Hey, Chris.
Nice.
Chris from Chicago says, "Hey Damon and Scoop Crew, thanks for the hours of fun podcasts. I had a lot of post-surgery downtime recently, and the catalog of Game Scoop episodes has kept me entertained."
Oh, that's cool.
He does not reveal what his surgery was. What do you think it was? Do you think he was lobotomized?
No, I think he had to get a new butt because his last one was cracked.
He had two buttholes.
You know, butt surgery has come a long way in recent years.
Yeah, that's true, especially Chicago.
Usually outpatient
The
surgery.
hospital from ER does a lot of butt surgery.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Grey's Anatomy is about?
Chicago Hope.
Anyway.
Surgery?
Chris from Chicago says, "What are your favorite controllers of all time? And do you think there is a game that exemplifies your choice by having a great control scheme? I have always been a big DualShock fan, but the Xbox One controller may be my pick. Its size and fit is comfortable in my hands. The sticks give greater control than 360 did, and I slightly prefer the trigger and bumper configuration to an R1 and R2.
Oh, there's a lot of great controllers.
Yeah, that's a good question.
The Japanese Saturn controller is really good.
Before we try to just pick one, let's go through them over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I did not know that the Atari 2600 joystick was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fine. The NES controller was, I think we can all assume, awesome.
Yeah.
But again, we didn't know any better.
Yes.
It's like, this just works.
Yeah.
That
great.
crosspad,
Really good.
man. Oh, what
Crosspad was really good.
yeah.
Buttons felt really
I do
good.
remember having a little hard time when the Genesis introduced a third face button, and I was like, whoa, it's
I think the Genesis controller is a little chunky. A little
Yeah.
too chunky for my taste.
bigger. It is
I remember it being very light. It was too light.
Yeah.
You want to have a
Yeah.
little heft.
Yeah, which
Really
is funny
big and
because
really
it's bigger, but it seems hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is
it's exactly. That's how it feels.
And then Super Nintendo added a lot more buttons.
Yes.
Yep. All
Four
of the,
face
all
buttons,
the,
two shoulder buttons.
the shoulder buttons are in a slightly awkward spot on
I
the Super
agree with
Nintendo
that.
controller.
They're slightly on top of it in a way that I
Yeah.
I have done all of my Super Nintendo gaming. Still have the console I got in '91 or whatever with a third-party controller, and it has these like auto flickers at the top. It's like sort of bulbous, but that's what I associate hundreds, thousands of hours of playing of Earthbound and
You
Mario
never had a
RPG.
standard
We
standard
had that was
controller?
just our Player 2 controller.
Oh,
Now, while we're still back in the past, did any of you guys ever fool with like a television controller?
that's very confusing.
That is extreme. It's
There's
four,
like a-
four buttons on the side,
Yeah.
12 buttons on the front, and then a
got
disc
like a phone dial
that
pad
you
on
press
it.
around, and the disc can go. It can go like 40 some different directions.
Yeah, the little slidey disc,
Yeah, it is
like on a PSP or
Yeah, it's a really weird thing. Well, it's somewhere between that and the knob on a Coleco controller.
Yeah.
That is a weird controller. But it did have those cool overlays that you could use for the buttons, so you know what they all did.
The first PlayStation controller was pretty much just a copy of the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
controller.
yeah.
It's bad.
Just a little more
It didn't have
form-fitting.
analog sticks.
Yeah.
analog
Absolutely.
sticks.
And then the Nintendo 64 controller was pretty different, but
It was 2/3 fine, and then that whole left-hand portion was sort of just not necessary.
It was like it was made for Mario 64.
Yeah.
And it
I mean, the
worked
trigger was
great for
really
that.
good. It did a lot of smart stuff. They figured out
Yeah.
things about analog
Z-
The
sticks.
trigger ended up
since
feeling
then.
great for GoldenEye
Yeah.
and Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
But to steal it Bettenhausism, the secret best controller of that generation was the Saturn controller, not the American one, but the one that came out in Japan. That controller is gold. 6 face buttons, 2 shoulder buttons, perfect pad, feels just awesome in your hands. Exactly the right size. Easily the best controller of that decade.
Well, even better than you think the first
I mean,
DualShock.
that's what I think.
yeah.
Is like everything.
I didn't like the DualShock. I never liked it.
Yeah,
What?
No, I
It
didn't.
changed everything.
Yeah,
No,
I could
didn't
never go back.
I thought the 2 analog sticks were positioned poorly. It doesn't fit your fingers to have them both down here. It's the Xbox layout smarter having them off center that way. And I can't believe that anybody would prefer them being convex. Concave, so your thumb can sit in
I'm
them
just
and it
thinking
doesn't
of the
slip off.
time. I'm just thinking of the time. At the
Sure.
time, I thought it was.
I'm
great.
just saying, like, they stuck with a controller that I found inferior for almost 15 years.
I do agree that by the time we got to like PlayStation 3, that controller was feeling
yeah.
archaic.
Weird. No, I'm still. I think I'm one of the few people that I prefer the DualShock over any of the Xbox controllers.
Man, no.
I like the DualShock more than the Xbox controller also, actually, but I've never really liked the original Xbox controllers very much. But also, during that decade, Microsoft Sidewinder Pro, best joystick ever made. Released that
It's odd that there's great controllers that all have like a fatal flaw. Like, Marty aside, I think most people, like commonly, the Xbox controller is
totally.
considered better because the triggers are so good.
First of all, triggers are great.
But the face buttons are uncomfortable, the little jeweled face buttons. I'm like, dude, like how...
And their first D-pad was famously terrible.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
D-pads
and
are-
I mean, you had the Duke come out originally for the original Xbox.
if you got big hands, that's probably one of
yeah.
the best controllers ever made.
Yeah.
Although it still has, I don't know.
So one of probably the worst controller for one of my favorite consoles is the Dreamcast, and that's almost solely because the cord comes out of the bottom,
Yeah.
and you have to loop it behind, and you have to connect it to a thing, and you put those VMUs that die all the time in there, and what a little trash controller.
We skipped over. I'm a huge fan of the GameCube controller, and I actually wasn't complete. I guess what year did the GameCube come out?
2001.
Yeah, so it's like maybe my hands are still growing a little bit. Like it feels small in my hands now, but at the time, it was pretty
It felt
perfect. Like
Except,
I like
I liked it too.
I like the double action on the
on the
trigger.
triggers.
Slow
Yeah.
down and then click was great. The Z thing was weird though. They just I don't know.
Yeah, the face buttons are a little. It's like there's a big A button, right? And then
It's great.
3 gray ones
That's
around. You like that?
awesome.
It works really well for me, and actually, I don't like the triggers on Xbox controllers as well. I felt like the triggers on the GameCube did. I feel like it did what the DualShock was trying to do better, and also is better than the Xbox in that, because I think Xbox triggers still have slightly too much give, like they go too far up.
Yeah.
Well, then what about the Wavebird?
So it's hard to
Oh man.
It was like once you had the Wavebird, you're like, wait, we're never doing chords again, right? We're done with chords.
Yeah.
Like this is it.
We're not done with chords, sadly.
I know.
I do think I think PS4. I think PS4 is probably the most perfect game controller we've had in a long time. They finally fixed the analog sticks.
What about the Xbox One Elite controller?
That controller was real
I
nice.
actually haven't played around
Oh,
with
that
it
controller was
yet.
real nice.
I think that might have the edge. Is my favorite.
It's also crazy expensive though, right?
Yeah, but it's really great.
The current generation Xbox controller in general, I like better than the 360 controller because it fixed the D-pad finally. How you
Yeah, that's
screw
true.
up a D-pad, I'm
Well,
not
it's
sure,
because
but
Nintendo are the only people that can make a cross D-pad.
in America, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but Nintendo controller-wise has, I think, sort of been blown it from the Wii and then a lot of the peripheral controllers and then
Yeah.
the Wii U. I don't like the Gamepad Pro or whatever.
I mean,
it's called.
we did gloss over the Wii. I mean, it was just such a different,
Yeah.
But I mean, it sold over 100 million consoles just off the strength of the tech and the controller itself. So that can't be written off. I actually really liked. It felt weird getting used to the removing the nunchuck.
Yeah.
Like
And I mean-
not having to have your hands together. Like I could just be.
And it
moving
felt
back.
so good, and
It's
like I always just associate that with Mario Galaxy, Mario Galaxy
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
And, like it felt so good.
Best way to play Resident Evil 4, I think, still is with that combination. I love having the separated controllers in that.
I think we can all agree it's the worst controller of all time, though. Mouse and keyboard.
Oh, okay. Now you just burn.
He's just kidding. He's just kidding.
Just go burn.
I'm not kidding. I don't like
Everybody.
What about an iPad?
No, I love my iPad.
I like
For
touch
certain things.
For certain things.
Yeah.
If a game's built around it, but I'm never going to want to play like Mega Man on a touchscreen.
The argument that I always used to troll people with when they'd say touchscreens weren't meant for gaming, games weren't meant to be designed with touchscreens. So I'm like, yeah, like a mouse and keyboard. But that worked out all right.
I do like the PlayStation 4 controller a lot.
That's really good.
Much
So-
improved over the PS3, I think.
Are we picking favorites?
So favorite of all time?
Yeah.
I mean, we all seem to have a great fondness for the Wavebird.
I do love the Wavebird.
Yeah.
But I think sentimentally the Sidewinder Pro still wins it for me. I played so much on that thing. You had a little throttle right here on the side, and you could pivot the joystick. It just felt perfect. So if you're playing like MechWarrior, like just churning the chassis sideways and still being able to steer, and then having the hat up here was just lovely. No joysticks ever felt that good.
I think we can all agree that that third-party Super Nintendo controller, I can't remember the name of, is probably our favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our next email comes from Daniel Reason from Kent in the United Kingdom.
Ooh.
Oi!
He says, hello, Damon, Justin, and the other guys.
Yeah.
The other guys.
I've been a longtime viewer of the show. It is always one of the best parts of my week. As you know, with E3 quickly approaching, a lot of people have been talking about things they want to see, Red Dead Redemption 2 being a popular choice. However, I personally did not enjoy the first Red Dead quite as much as my friends.
Get out.
I only played about 15% of the main story, so my question to you is, have there been any big or popular games that you personally have struggled to enjoy?
Oh, man.
If so, what?
Yeah, all of them, dude. Like, no. I mean, it's true. Like, my gaming tastes, I need to be in the right mood to enjoy something like The Witcher, for example. Like, a lot of the time I'm playing, sort of stranger stuff like Prison Architect or, Big Pharma on PC I played a lot of, where you build your own pharmacy. And, like, I often start games like Arkham or Witcher or Tomb Raider or Watch Dogs, and just I play through it a little, and it's just, I don't know, they feel samey a lot, and I often have a hard time getting through them.
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's easy to get open world fatigue.
Yep. I swing back and forth between big AAA stuff and experimental indie stuff. And if I play enough indie stuff, I'm like, this has a lot of cool ideas, but it's not meaty enough. They're all a little small. And now I want something that just has that polish, and it's going to take me through, an adventure.
Yeah,
And then I go back and forth.
So we all love video games, but we all have like our favorite genres, and then there are just genres that don't interest us, right? So like, there's going to be a big game that comes out like Mortal Kombat X, but I'm just not really a fighting game guy.
Yeah,
right? So
totally.
it's kind of like that's just not going to fall into my playlist.
Yeah, I feel like I'm that way with a lot of racing games. Like I never really understood the appeal of stuff of super simmy games like Gran Turismo or like Forza. But I mean, I personally don't understand the appeal, but I sort of get why, if you like those sort of things, that you totally dig them.
Let's go.
Halo, definitely.
I'm with you on Halo.
Yeah,
I never really understood.
Pure monsters.
I think that's. I don't think that's like a cool world. There's like nothing cool about that world or the characters.
Yeah, they're well-designed games. I mean, they're very.
it's all right, like,
right, same here. I don't find it compelling. I think the design in terms of the game, the gunplay, yes, it's wonderful.
I'll briefly summarize every Halo game. Generic Space Marine shoots at some generic
know what?
aliens, then some generic zombies show up.
and there's a giant planet at the end.
The float are not zombies.
And the aliens are generic.
yeah, there's nothing cool about
God of
I
War.
don't think I have an interesting culture.
God of War never bit me. Devil May Cry never got me. And all y'all who talk about Banjo, I don't get it.
What is happening?
I do love Banjo.
This is the sofa of sanity right now.
Yeah.
So you love every game. There's no popular
I mean, I
game you don't
can't
love.
get into. I've never been able to get into Elder Scrolls or Fallout. I am playing Mass Effect for the first time this summer after E3.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Are you doing that for IGN or just for funsies?
For funsies, but I'm gonna probably do Let's Plays of it for various channels
That's neat.
and sort of write about what it's like to revisit that game after 10 years.
Yeah.
Or visit, I guess, that game for the first time.
Yep. I maybe some of this is chalked up to being a relatively new dad. My kid just turned 2, but last year I played every game and didn't beat any game.
Yeah.
I got about halfway through all the big AAA games, and then that was the point I had my fill. And now that I have a little bit more gaming time, she's a little bit older. Like I got through Uncharted very quickly. I guess that's a smaller game too.
Yeah.
But my list of games I want to go back to is getting so big that realistically, I'm just never, like we talked about this on Scoop last week or 2 weeks ago. I want to go back to Batman. I want to go back to Witcher. I want to go back to Fallout. I've kind of been toying with getting a gaming PC, and that might be my excuse. Like I played those games on console, and maybe I'll just pick up like the PC Ultimate Edition or whatever and go through them again. I probably never do that.
No, you definitely won't.
And I put Overwatch up here just because like it seems like everyone's playing Overwatch right now, except for me.
I'm not
it is
playing
up
it
there.
either. But I'm intrigued by it. I want to try
Oh,
it.
dude, Overwatch is so good. So here's the epiphany that I had, Damon.
Okay.
It took me 10 years to admit this, probably more, 15 years. I am ready to admit here to myself and to the world that I am not a great FPS player.
Oh, I'm not at all. I'm terrible.
But I'm just saying,
in terms of like a competitive setting.
Yeah.
I was in denial. For years it was, well, I was playing the objective and everyone else was just trying to get kills, but I was the only person trying to capture the hill. Or it was, I was calling out enemy positions for my teammates and that was helping even though I wasn't getting a lot of kills. And I had every excuse under the sun. And then I finally said, you know what? I know myself better now, and I'm ready to admit that I'm just not especially skilled at this. And I'm going to bring it around.
Okay, bring it back.
Overwatch is great because that's a game where high skill or low skill FPS players can succeed and make meaningful contributions, and not contribute in like a, oh, good job, like you're really helping, but like truly you can contribute in meaningful ways even if you're not a super skilled FPS player. Like, I play a character named Symmetra that gives all your teammates shields and puts up a teleporter so you can get back into the fight faster, and puts up turrets that can kill people, and like, you don't need to aim at anybody. Like, and like a character like that can really turn the game around for your team, and like if you have one on your team, everyone is stronger for it, and like I love playing her. I've played her for hours and hours, even though, you know, I'm not lining up headshots. And I get, you know, I get lots of kills and play the game. And Overwatch has whatever you're, like, if you want to snipe, if you want to set up turrets, if you want to heal, if you want to just have a shield that protects everybody, like, you can do all that stuff with characters like Reinhardt and these other people. So that's the reason that me personally, I'm completely enamored with it.
Nice.
That's really exciting. I cannot wait to play this.
And like other games that like Battleborn obviously is you know, another class-based shooter, and even Team Fortress, but none of them have that feel of Overwatch where I don't feel like a lesser member of my team for picking, you know, a support class like that. Like, they're so important to succeeding.
I
like your
suspect that
enthusiasm.
at the end of the day, when I'm sitting down to play my game, I just don't want to jump into like a multiplayer setting.
You can play with us.
I mean, okay. If that happens, but like we said before, we've played together online a grand total of 0 times in all the years we've known each other.
Zach and Kathleen and I play almost every night.
Okay. Maybe I'll.
And Marty's going to join that
see.
group too.
Probably just gonna go to a bar.
Yeah. It's time for Video Game 20 questions.
All right.
This week's suggestion comes from Knox Crichton, which is a hell of a
Is
name.
he a superhero?
Hell of a name.
I think
Sounds
he's
like
a
a super
superhero.
villain.
Yeah, that's like his secret identity.
Knox Crichton, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know how this works. My panel has 20 yes or no questions to guess Knox's mystery game.
It's not that game, is it?
I don't know, is it?
Oh, I don't even know what game that is. Is that God of War? Was it? Did it come out before January 1st, 2000?
No.
All right, so fairly recent. Justin, you didn't ask your typical first question.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is it associated with the current console generation?
No. No.
Okay.
Justin, what's your normal first question?
I usually just ask a silly one.
Your hair looks like a silly one right now.
Yeah, I run my hands through my hair when I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Does your character wear a hat?
No.
They never wear a hat.
Not to my knowledge.
It's not Watch Dogs, guys.
All right.
Oh, that was also this gen.
Yeah.
Is this game first person?
Yes.
Is this game associated with the previous console generation?
No.
Oh.
Okay, so we're
Wait.
so we're talking
So
early
it's neither,
2000.
it's neither the Xbox 360, Wii, and PS3 generation, nor is it current gen.
So we're talking.
What does that leave us?
Xbox, PS2, GameCube.
PS2, GameCube, Dreamcast.
It could be a handheld if Damon's being tricksy.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it could
first
be.
person. Very few handheld games are first person.
Very few. So there are a few.
Was this a console exclusive?
Yes.
Okay, no.
Black.
Ooh, okay.
It's either Black or Halo.
Black didn't come out after 2000, I would
Yeah, it
guess.
did.
Really?
Yeah, it was a PS2 game.
Yeah, or Halo.
And Xbox.
Yeah,
All those games are after 2000?
yeah.
Why don't we narrow down the console? Yeah.
Was this an Xbox exclusive?
No.
Is this
What?
a PlayStation exclusive?
No.
Okay, so it's either the Dreamcast or the.
Is this a GameCube exclusive?
No. You guys are burning questions.
What?
So it's got to be Dreamcast, right?
No, unless Damon's being a
It's a
real.
console exclusive.
I'm not being anything. Knox picked this game.
It's a console exclusive from after 2000.
Wait, maybe I misphrased my question.
What?
When I meant a console exclusive, I meant exclusive to a single console.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
And that's how I took your
Okay,
question.
So-
it's either a Dreamcast game or
Handheld.
X versus Sever on GBA.
here we are. Could be that.
Or PSP.
Oh, or PSP. That's what I said.
no,
before.
PSP was associated with the.
I think
360
first-person
generation.
Dreamcast exclusive first-person shooters. There's Blue Shift.
That wasn't
That never
first person.
came
That
out.
was third person.
Yeah, it was third person.
Or no, Blue Stinger. Never
This
mind.
is,
I think
this
Blue
isn't working
Shift
well. Is this primarily considered a single player game?
No. That's
All right.
10 questions.
Well, we don't know
Okay,
it's a
wait.
shooter. We only know it's first person.
First person.
We made a big leap there.
Yeah.
so
did
10
make a
questions. What?
So it could be like Morrowind.
10 questions. What do we know?
Yeah, except for it's not
not
Morrowind,
one.
but something
Fact
like
checking
that.
here.
After 2000,
Yeah,
you know it's an exclusive
to the console.
on a console, and it's not an Xbox or PlayStation exclusive.
or
Or
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
You guys didn't ask if it's a Nintendo.
We did.
We
exclusive.
just tested that.
We went through all three.
Yeah, we went through all
You
three.
did not ask me if it's a
Yeah, we did.
Nintendo.
Well, is it a
GameCube
GameCube?
exclusive? Yeah.
Well, you
is
asked
it-
if it's a GameCube exclusive?
Yeah.
That's not the same question as is it a Nintendo exclusive?
What does that mean?
It means exactly that. It's not a GameCube exclusive.
What year did Perfect Dark come out?
Oh, God, it literally might have been 2000.
Aha. Oh, that's a good thought. That's
Does this
right.
game star a woman named Joanna Dark?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it came out in the year 2000.
God, yeah,
my
it came out
God.
like summer
That's
2000,
right.
like May 2000.
Wow, nicely done, Damon.
There were multiple N64 games that came out in 2000. I think even 2001. I think Conquer came out in 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2000 was like the
Right.
last like legit year, and then 2001 was like the
There's
death
like-
knell
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Conquer and a couple other things.
Was 2000 Majora's Mask or was that 99?
I think that was 99.
I think it was the end of 99,
Okay.
November 99.
Well, wow. Because Ocarina of Time was 98.
Yeah, and it only came out a year
Just
later.
A year after?
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
why
that's
they
why.
did it. They came to him and said, "Hey, make us another Zelda game you can release in a year."
why
and
it's
that's
all
why
the
it's
same
structured that
characters,
way.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's why it only has 4 dungeons. That's why it's the most overrated Zelda game.
That's why Justin doesn't know what he's talking
It's a
about.
very interesting Zelda game that I.
The sofa!
We had the Banjo-Kazooie Bulwark.
I don't actually enjoy playing. It's a really neat
You don't
idea.
enjoy playing Majora's Mask?
No, timers, man, timers.
I know it's the antithesis of, hey, explore at your own pace and solve these puzzles and like really stand back and think about
Yeah.
how this all fits together. And instead, it's just pressure.
You know, that's not how
all the
life works,
time.
yo.
It's like
Death is
playing-
coming for all of us.
That's how video games work.
It's like playing Fallout 1 without patching out the time limit.
I
You're
know.
just like, what is the point? What
I'm
am I
with
doing
you.
here?
I'm with you. That timer.
Before we go real quick, one more email from Phil Hearn. Phil says, just wondering, does Justin actually get on with Jared Petty? As it sounds like he's always trying to shoot him down with snide comments.
Get on or get it on?
That's true. I
he
was
says
a
get
a
on.
little mean to Jared. No, I'm a big. I enjoy Jared a lot.
Just today, Justin was saying some very nice and complimentary things about me.
What? How is every show Jared on? People think everyone hates Jared.
Well, this is actually something I'm sending all of these messages to try to garner something. That's what's happening. No, I think maybe
It's because we tease Jared out of love.
I do the little lost puppy thing, I guess. I don't know, but no, Justin.
I don't
and I are
tease.
friends.
If I didn't like you, I wouldn't say the things that I say.
Yeah, there is here at IGN the culture
like
of
what you do to a
friendship is
girl you
very.
like.
We are a very teasy bunch. That is definitely it's a slightly hard-edged warmth.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
I don't even pick up on a lot of teasing.
Yeah, I miss a lot of it too.
I call him
actually.
Kirby.
So,
I-
well, I kind of look
I
like
think
Kirby.
it's a term of endearment.
Kirby's wonderful.
No, I don't, and it's not just like I'm like, oh shucks, guys. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Phil says, love the show, by the way, and Jared rocks, leave him alone.
Aw.
We need to get the hashtag leave Jared alone.
I do very much appreciate you coming to my defense, but no kidding. They're all really, really nice to me and to one another.
For sure. We're all big fans.
Justin said I was funny.
Jared's blinking in Morse code right now. Listen,
It's like,
Call the police.
but no, I've heard this come up a few times. Thanks, guys, but no, really, I like these people.
Oh.
All right, that's all the scoops we have for this week. I think there's one more scoop before E3 week
Whoa.
is upon us.
goodness
A
gracious.
single scoop in a waffle cone.
Yeah,
Delicious.
sounds great. You guys have that Humphrey Slocum's secret breakfast ice cream?
Oh,
What is
It
this?
is incredible.
The bourbon cereal.
It's bourbon with cornflakes in it. Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's the best.
Where is this at?
Humphrey Slocum is the
Oh.
ice cream shop here in San Francisco.
Let's go get some, Damon.
We
Sounds
should
good.
go get some. But thank you, Justin. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Jared. My name is Damon. This is IGN Game Scoop, and we're out.